Welcome to the stream. We've got a different intro today because I don't know what I'm doing. Spawning in the bottom of the map in the blue color playing as Zeus. His name is Redu. And on the top side of the map in the red color playing as Oranos is More. This is a show match hosted by, what's his name? Where is it? SHS110. He's hosting this match for me to cast, and we'll see if these guys can put on a good show for you guys. The map is Blue Lagoon. And we've already got some aggressive scouting going on here. Or is the map just really small and he's doing the initial circle around his base? I do like it when people send their scouts over to the other side of the map to grab early pigs, especially against Oranos or Ra or any kind of god that really needs to... Well, it's kind of like slow initial scouting. If you send your initial scouts over to your opponent's base, grab some of those goaties, some of those pigs. But... just looking for hunter this moment. He found some zebra. That's nice. Got some zebra here. I don't think I've seen this map very much. I think I've heard Mr. complaining about how close these town centers normally spawn in the middle of the map, but there's no Egyptian, so it shouldn't matter too much. Found some hunt like literally everywhere. I think this is quite a high hunt, and there's, for some random reason, water in the map because it's called Blue Lagoon. That makes sense, I suppose. I guess you can expect Redu to go for some sort of Hermes play. It has been nerfed, I guess, with this Voobly balance patch 3.0, but still quite a strong strategy against Oranos. You get those early heroes out, go and bash your opponent around with the centaur and both those heroes, and then keep them coming, transition into Hippocon, and see how you go from there. But More does have a relatively shitty gold mine here. Can chuck up a temple and a mana around it, and it should be easy enough to defend, but being 4 definitely means you can get a lot of harass. We do see that initial mana that does go up, but that doesn't really help the watchtower there. The watchtower is still super open there to any sort of rush, and potentially Redu could send this scout in, see this, and then execute some sort of really aggressive push onto that, and we'll see if Moore can defend against that. For some reason he's sending that villager to a gold mine there instead of over to the hunt. I'm not sure if this is something Moore's practice. Maybe he's going for... Nope, just grabbing some early gold so he can chop up a faster temple maybe. This Oracle Scout's found Redu's starting hunt. It's not really going to help him too much, and Redu can just send a villager over there to start attacking that Oracle Scout, but I'm not 100% sure what that's for. I feel like you could probably find more information out on the map by having that scout elsewhere. The map's really, really small. I don't know if this is normal on these balance patch maps, but normally they're not quite this small. I guess you could move forward really fast with Redu's villagers here. You could just move up, grab this gazelle patch, and then put on even more pressure early. Moore does have this choke here, kind of... I think that temple is completely in tower range, so taking it down, you're going to need a fair few hoplite to take that one down. So it is a good placement, but it does allow for Toxotes to come over into this location and start like trying to gold starve on this gold mine. So still not 100% sure. We are seeing Prometheus has come through now for More, and Hermes is the god of choice there for Redu. So no aggressive attacks here. Early Jason's out. Looks like he wants to grab the girdle of Hippolyta, which is a very strong relic. Does give yourself extra Toxote. Is that Toxote health? Yep, extra Toxote health. And we do have the Mythal Horseshoes as well. So Redu grabbing this relic first, I assume, going to run that one back and then move over and grab the Mythal Horseshoes because he's definitely going to be grabbing out some of those Hippocon later. Got 2 villagers on the favor, so he's going to be grabbing some of those centaur. Sort of standard, and I assume he's going to have pickaxe at some... getting hand axe. No pickaxe just yet. I guess you don't need pickaxe because you've only got the 2 villagers on gold, and you're going to be spamming centaur at the start. Grab that pickaxe a bit later when you start transitioning into heavy Hippocon. So that, I guess that makes sense, but still looking like the Jason did ignore the relic and has found some of those citizens, so he's going to be pushing more back into his base. He does have access to these rhino, so he can effectively move over onto those, and it should be totally fine. Chucking up the military barracks and the counter barracks to surround this gold mine is going to be very, very useful. Jason's still sitting in here, still not grabbing any of these relics, which is a little bit surprising. The centaur are coming out, and he's grabbing that centaur pole or sylvan lore, upgrading to centaur pole mark straight away, and the Promethean running around trying to find something, but I feel like that one is probably just going to get picked off here with the centaur maybe finding it, or the Promethean is going to run straight by here and try and find these villagers gathering from this hunt. Not deleting the Promethean to get the Promethean offspring for some reason. Not 100% sure why that's happening. Odysseus is out and has spotted that Promethean, so he's going to die very, very quickly, and it looks like still has 8 HP, but if the Odysseus can get onto it and kill it, then he can pretty much kill the Promethean offspring as it's getting spawned and be totally fine there. I feel like it's possible that Redo just scouted this with the Catastrophic Scout. The polemarks are coming over. Centaur polemarks are coming over right now. Gonna try and put some pressure onto this, but I feel like more should be on top of this. See the blue dot and then react. But it looks like, yep, that reaction is fairly quickly. And I guess this is just going to be back and forth as this guy does launch the attack, and he has to retreat into that manner very, very fast, but still not doing that one just yet. We do have the Girdle of Hippolyta has been grabbed there by more. That only gives access to Arcus hit points. I don't think it affects, does not affect the Terma, so not going to be utilized that well for a while there. The Centaur is going to be able to get away unscathed there, and we do have these Prometheans running around being a little bit of a nuisance, but the Hippogone is going to be able to pick that one off at this point. And just a little bit of running around here. Again, every time the Terma move in, run the Centaur away, we have a bolt onto that Hero Momillo, so he can have a little bit more I guess, effectiveness with this Centaur, and he's still producing these Centaur on auto queue. Going to be moving them once forward, trying to do as much as they possibly can here. We do see that this Terma is on 1 hit point. Definitely to get that Odysseus to be killing that one off straight away. If you select your opponent's units there, as they do land a couple of hits on the Centaur, you can see the hit points of your opponents pretty easily, so you should be able to check that one out. But it looks like the Odysseus is going to get picked off here, or at least close to be picked off. More does actually have to keep focusing that one down. We do have a Hippocon on the Hero Terma, and now we have 2 or 3 Centaur coming in right now, and that's going to be very difficult for Moore to deal with, and he's just going to move in here. This Rhinoceros has almost been gathered, but looks like you can just get some of these special Centaur attacks to be used onto those villages, and they might feel a bit of pain there. They are on low hit points there, as each of those arrows does fly through the air. Moore does retreat them into the manor. But at this point, it looks like Redo's got complete control over this location. It's going to be very difficult. We do see a little bit of raids going on, but Redo can just move back into his base, gather from these berries. We do see Shockwave getting cast there, and Ceasefire. That seems like it could potentially be a little bit of an overreaction. He probably could have lost maybe 1 Centaur there, but losing Ceasefire and your footing on this location, it's going to be a pretty big issue there, unless he was doing it for some other reason, which it doesn't look like. He's not even grabbing a town center behind this either, so literally this is just allowing Moore to get basically stabilized from that aggression there, and he's going to have to retreat back into his base when this ceasefire is about over. Maybe 10 seconds left. Get these villagers, move them back into your base, and it should be totally fine. Maybe 15 seconds actually would be more safe. So hopefully Moore does do that. Just sacrifice the 200 food left in here and get them one back into your base. There we go. That is happening there. And then I guess you just chuck up manners over here, and you're totally fine from this aggression. And looks like Redo not yet chucking up that second stable, so I'm not sure what his plans here is. Potentially grabbing second town center would be the correct option, but especially if you're only staying on 1 stable. He's also house blocked. I'm not sure if that's because he doesn't know what's going on. He's a bit slow. Definitely need to keep getting those houses up, and we are seeing a little bit of a move out here, which is going to get scouted by the Odysseus. Going to be able to move out and see some stuff. This Oracle Scout is scouting settlements and stuff, so Redo's not going to get any jump on his opponent in terms of that settlement economic booming surprise. Grab the early town center. Oftentimes your opponent has to chase that town center spawning thing or whatever it's called. Moore's going to have to retreat out of here. His army is kind of bigger than his opponents here. I don't actually know what the chat hotkeys are to see everything. So I think if you go exclam1, that's resources. Nice. Exclam2. Okay, so Moore's at full population. So generally when you get to full population, you either want to grab your second town center or start attacking. So Ridu does not have his second town center, but he is building it, and I guess so should Moore, or he should actually be putting pressure on this, but there's actually so many villages on this town center that it should go up rather fast. We see these medium terma are moving out, and these centaur are going to take a lot of damage there. Unfortunately, not being able to pick off any of those terma. I think potentially Moore might have actually... No, he didn't. I thought he might have targeted the terma that was getting targeted by the centaur and changed it into heroes, but unfortunately not happening there. And Moore's going to have to get out of there. Does he have access to... He doesn't have... Oh, I don't know how to check that one. How do you check if he's got the upgrade for the cheaper terma? He's deleting some of those terma. I'm not sure if that was because he wanted to trade those for like a villager. Maybe the villager is coming out there. We are seeing a villager moving over to this location to grab that town center as Ridu does come in with that second town center. Still, 4 villagers on favor. I'm not sure about this. I don't know if that's efficient at all. I know that it's different in the Titans than in Nilla, because I know in Nilla if you put 4 villagers on favor, it is effectively only... I think it's actually less income than 3 villagers in Nilla, but on Titans I think they may have fixed the algorithm a little bit, but it's still not that efficient. You could get more resources out of doing something else. But we are seeing a little bit of an attack here onto Moore's town center. Moore is grabbing the second town center over here and here, so he's going for that double town center play. But Ridu's making that really aggressive push in with these centaur. Really nice micro hit. These Hero Mamilo need to be getting onto the centaur as best as possible, and some of those centaur are falling there. Terma doing a lot of damage to those centaur, and unfortunately Ridu not able to stop this town center from going up, and Moore being able to control that location well enough because he had that full population to Ridu's less than full population. So he's going to have to get out of there. Stables going up. Well, more stables for Ridu going up as he's finally starting to stabilize his economy a little bit after pumping all those centaur. So we'll see what happens there. I feel like Moore's next option is going to be get a bunch more villages from those 3 town centers and then just rush Mythic Age. So we're going to have to see if Ridu can control the game and basically limit any damage that Moore's going to be doing in the meantime. But he has lost his footing on the aggression there. The ceasefire he cast potentially did set him behind a little bit. I feel like he shouldn't have done that, but house is now coming up for Ridu. He's still trying to pump out economy as best as he possibly can, and he's moving over to this large gold mine. 12-minute mark. It's a bit different when normally second gold mines start coming in about 10 minutes, 10:30, but when you go for these heavy centaur play at the start of the game, then transition into Hippocon, it starts being 12:30-ish to 13 minutes when you get that second gold mine. We are seeing some of these units moving in, going to pick off a couple of those Oranos units and should get out of there. And Moore's looking to try and find something. These villages at the back of the base are going to get hit here. This is going to be a huge raid, and I think potentially 1 villager only is going to die because Rita reacted really, really fast there. But still, losing those villages, not ideal. And like I was saying, gold mines for Greek start coming at the 12-minute 30 mark, and that's a bit of a timing push that you can make as Oranos, especially when the second town center is only just being grabbed. I mean, it's been a couple of minutes, but third town center also being grabbed here, and we do see Moore is rotating around the map. He has got line of sight over onto this gold mine, and I think he saw that the gold mine was expired when he went in here, so he should be looking to move down onto this gold mine. He knows that's probably the only one that Ridu's in, and he's also putting pressure over to this town center, which is causing all of Ridu's attention to be over here while he moves into the gold mine, which he's not doing. I thought he was being a genius. Instead, he's attacking the town center. Definitely not the right choice there. This town center is definitely going to go up, has been defended here, and unfortunately for Moore, he's not able to move in onto this gold mine. I'm not even sure if he's actually scouted it, but on this map, if you've played it enough, you should know that there's gold mines on both sides sides of the lagoon. And it does look like he's finally moving over onto this gold mine. He's got enough units here to force Redo off this gold mine, and Redo has to move in over onto the town center to defend against it, and also move on over to the gold mine to defend it. So this is a huge raid here for Redo to deal with. Moore doing really, really well to put the pressure onto Redo, and I feel like he's probably shouldn't be fighting this fight. All of Redo's armies here, while all of his the rest of Moore's armies over here picking off villages, and they're going to be running back and forth, going to be losing quite a few of those, but has got his second town center up and can start moving over to this gold mine. If I'm Redo right now, I'm just taking these villages off the gold here, potentially moving some villages from Feyre over to this gold mine, villages over to this gold mine, and then move some villages over as I rotate my villages around the map. But instead, villager fighting here is going to be enough to hold onto this gold mine, and some of these centaur are pushing this raid off as Redo is now moving forward. So splitting up the army is a little bit inefficient here by Moore, and he is losing his footing a little bit here as he's having to retreat. And a lot of units are falling without that much trading, because there's not that many hero units for Moore out at this point. And these centaur are just doing so much damage. They can really tank damage from no hero units here, but gonna have to retreat now, coming back into that town center range, dealing with all of that good stuff, and he's going to have to get back out of there. I guess as an Oranos player, you like the spam war, so you can continue to flood units, and it does generally work for you. But if you're not trading at least a little bit efficiently, you do fall behind quite severely, and I do expect to see Redo going through to the heroic age relatively soon. If we check out his population, we do see it's 105 to 131, so more still ahead in the population, but potentially his economic upgrades not able to compete. Actually, his economy should be fine, so I feel like it's simply just he's not trading very well, and he does need to start spending more resources on getting some heroes out in order to deal with all these centaur, because once they're massed, it's super hard to deal with them. But also Redo could be thinking about sending some like stray raids around. We are seeing more sending a villager over, doing some sort of side build here, and trying to create a little bit of havoc around the map. But this is going fairly well for Redo at this point. He is slowly but surely getting ahead, but unfortunately he's like not got enough food at the moment for some reason. Does he have plow? He does have plow. He's got husbandry, so he should be able to continue building villages fairly frequently, but I feel like the transition into farms didn't go that well, and unfortunately not able to keep that villager spam going as well as he can. He doesn't have villages coming from 3 town centers, which is something you really want to be doing if you want to get further ahead in the economy. You probably do see more Titan is at full villager supply, so he's not going to get any further ahead on the economy unless he starts investing in those economic upgrades. But because he's got so many military buildings on auto queue, he's never going to have any resources, and he's just throwing them away into those centaur. I imagine they've got an immense amount of kills for them. We do see that more just now chucking up a sky passage. He loves those sky passages. Oh, I like this. He sent the villager for the side build, but it was a sky passage, and these villagers aren't going to have line of sight of that. You do see the line of sight ends here, so he can actually produce quite a bit though. So this is going to be a pretty brutal raid. Again, we're seeing more scouting around, making sure there's nothing happening over here. The sky passage is going to get up. This sky passage is going to get up as well, and I feel like Redo has spotted this. He's seen the sky passage, so he should know that there's going to be some shenanigans going on. As soon as the sky passage goes up, Moore's gonna make his Murmillo come out of here, attack this gold mine, and potentially he's got access to shockwave as well, I believe, so he should be able to use that as well. And here we go, the medium Murmillo are coming out, and we are seeing Redo way out of position all the way over onto this gold mine, which has nothing, and these Murmillo are getting behind Redo, not completely aware, but unfortunately Moore didn't get the positioning that he needed there, and Redo is going to get out of there, only losing a couple of villages. But that it being said, Moore can now just retreat back to his base and deal with this raid straight away if he's being fast enough. But unfortunately, it looks like he's not coming back to it, and he's actually losing quite a few citizens over here. There is a Terma over here, a hero Terma, to pick off some of these units here, but there's so many centaur here that this location is going to get shut down, and potentially this manor is going to fall, and so many citizens falling here for Moore. But Moore also pushing off the gold and finally Redo deciding to move over into this gold mine, which is the right decision at this point in the game. And this mana probably going to go down, but still Moore is sitting on this gold mine, so he can continue to get those golds income happening, and he should just be able to hold on to this location, still losing more and more of those citizens. Every time you hear one of those donkeys dies, it's a brutal loss. 3 villages essentially worth of citizen every time they do die, which is huge. We do have a bunch of idle military here from Moore as well. One of those risky things with auto queue is you forget that you're producing them and you don't continuously update your waypoints, and that seems to be what's happening here. But you can always like just hit the idle military banner on the occasion just to see what's going on. We do see that Moore's trying to surround these units here. He's got a military barracks on his opponent's gold mine, so he really just needs to send another one of those sneaky citizens around, get another one of those sky passages over here, and then he can start really locking down gold mines. However, it looks like Redo is now moving into this location here, and unfortunately, oh no, there we go. We do see one of those citizens die. I think he got the amount of centaur perfectly correct there. We do see more hits the heroic age 3 Thea. We do see a huge shockwave there, but still not that many hero Termo to completely utilize it. What you want to do is have a bunch of hero Termo, cast shockwave, split your Termo up and kill out as many of those centaur as possible. We do see Apollo is coming through for Redo, but I assume the market is coming down super fast now for Moore, and he's going to be thinking about the Mythic Age as soon as possible. We're seeing military academies coming up for Redo, so he's going to be thinking about transitioning into Hoplite and starting that siege happening. And we are seeing these units moving into this raid on this gold mine right now. The population for Moore is 144 to 143 of Redo, so this is totally defendable for Redo, and his army should be able to sit in here completely fine. Hesperid's Tree does get cast. Where is he casting the Hesperid's Tree? He's casting it at his town center. Generally, I see people trying to cast the Hesperid's Tree where they want to cast their Titan Gate, just so they can defend it a little bit better, but against Zeus, you don't have to worry about that because he's only got access to really Lightning Storm. And this, for some reason, Redo not really able to defend against this. I feel like he's got some idle population somewhere, and there's just so many units here for Moore. He's able to really push off the gold mine of Redo, and Redo's sitting at 970 gold though, so he does have a fair few gold in the bank. But he's lost so many units. He was at 145 pop, and now he's sitting at 18 or 117, sorry. So that's absolutely huge. And we're seeing the Dryads coming out now. These cost no population, and Moore's just going to get... He's actually just going to catch up at this point. He's got the market up, and it looks like still no Mythic Age timing just yet, but Moore doing this thing that he does quite a bit, which I'm not a huge fan of. He likes fighting underneath Tower Fire, and if you fight underneath Tower Fire, it does give your opponent very easy outs, because you can just defend underneath there. We do see the medium Hypaspis are out to deal with those Murmillo, but medium Contarius are out as well, so we're going to have to see the medium Hoplite mixed in as well. So he's running around, he's got access to the Dryad tree there, but not going to be able to get any out in time. We're seeing a palace getting thrown up over here as well. Redo not being aware of this, definitely need to get those villagers onto that palace, and more Titan is definitely controlling this game at this point. No gold mines currently being mined there for Redo, sitting at 7 gold. He needs to find something somewhere, and if Moore was aware of this, he should be all over it, but unfortunately it looks like Moore sitting at 138 population, grabbing Masons, grabbing fortified town centers, and not going to the Mythic Age just yet. We're seeing these villagers try and take down the palace. We have Murmillo getting pumped out, heavy Murmillo at that, going to be able to pick off every single one of these villages, and the citizen is going to be more than enough to deal with this. This little onslaught here, and Redo losing so many units here. He has to move his entire army over here to deal with this, and while that's happening, we have Stymphalian birds picking off villages left, right, etc. Redo casts the underworld passage to get over here as soon as possible. You're going to be able to pick this location off, but using that underworld passage like that is not what you want to be doing there. We have a bunch of Manticore out as well though, but when these Manticore are massed, they deal so much damage, so much area of effect damage, and there are these Contarius coming on over here. Definitely want to kill that hero Contarius as soon as you possibly can. Gonna have to get out of there. Moore has lost his advantage on this location, completely lost his footing, did not have the units over here to deal with this. but he should have access to the Mythic Age relatively soon. Nope, he's nowhere close. He's sitting at 130 population. I've got no idea what's going on in this game. For some reason, Moore's economy is very, very low here, but Redo should be able to start moving back over to this gold mine as well, and he should be able to stabilize from all of this pressure that Moore's put on and be in a completely fine situation to deal with all this. Still need to get on top of these idle units here. If you're trying to take down this Sky Passage, which is difficult to take down unless you get all your units onto it, going to be in a difficult situation if you don't get all your units to pick it off. Moore should be thinking about getting a palace up in this location and starting sieging with those destroyers. He's got some Stymphalian birds still chilling over here, which he could send over onto a gold mine somewhere and start harassing that. But the Manticore are starting to mass. These things en masse are brutal. We do have the Contarius getting heroized, but even so, probably going to get picked off fairly quickly there, and the Manticore going to be able to finish off the rest of these units, especially with the rest of these Hoplite here. We do have a Shockwave getting cast here. I'm not sure if that's like a desperation play there, but Redo going to be sending over some more units and just through the Watchtowers. Going to lose a lot of hit points from that, and this location is getting completely shut down here. It looks like Moore decides to tap out, says GG. Well played there by Redo. I honestly had no idea how this game was going. Moore played pretty well. I liked how he was trying to be aggressive on multiple different fronts, but Redo managed to defend fairly reasonably there. Unfortunately, he couldn't like reassert his like aggression onto his opponent and was just playing defensively. But because he played so well defensively and his economy was so strong, Moore could not really get that advantage there. So we'll just jump back into the land screen and get into that next game as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. I'll check the chat as well.